Hello, everyone. It's John from Theme Park Social. This past Sunday, I went to Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party, and I had heard some complaints online that the park was a little bit too crowded for an after hours party that was a special ticket event. So, just to be completely transparent, I was supposed to go about a month ago, but we had a death in the family, so I had to reschedule the date. Disney was really cool about it, and they helped me make that happen. So, if you've never been to Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party, the party typically runs 7 p.m. till midnight. However, if you don't have an annual pass and you're just going for this one event, you can get in as early as 4 p.m. I got there around 5 p.m. and it was pretty crowded at the TTC, so it took a little longer than usual to get into the park. So, my pro tip would be get there closer to 4. When I got inside of the park, I didn't really have a plan. I was just going to kind of wing it because I was by myself and I was just really there to make some content to share with you. I wound up speaking to one of the cast members over in Tomorrowland, and she helped me come up with a plan. Looking back, it may not have been the best plan, but it was better than the plan I had at the time, which was none. So it was about 5:45. I was in the park, but there was nothing to do because nothing started for the Christmas party until 7 p.m. That would include all the overlays for the rides like Space Mountain and the Speedway. So I decided to go over to the Jungle Cruise, which is renamed during this time of year to the Jingle Cruise. They have the Christmas overlay going all day. So I figured I would knock that out really quick. And I got there, and the wait time was about 45 minutes. And I'll be honest, I waited about an hour. And at this point, there were still some daytime park guests in the park, but that had dwindled down and was pretty much non-existent by the time I got off the ride. So when I got off the Jingle Cruise, it was pretty much a couple minutes before 7, and I made my way down to Adventureland in front of Pirates of the Caribbean, which was going to be my first treat stop. And at 7 o'clock, the party started, and the atmosphere kind of changed. The music changed. Tortuga was the first stop, and it was probably the best. They had this M&M cookie, and they served it with hot chocolate, and it was amazing. I'll be honest, I rated it a 10 out of 10. I thought it was that good. I ended up hitting a few more rides, but the wait times were a little longer than I anticipated or expected for a limited ticket event at the Magic Kingdom. I decided to skip the first parade, which looking back was probably a mistake. If you wanted to watch the parade and ride rides, you probably had a better chance of riding rides later in the evening. During the second parade at 11, the wait times during the first parade were still 30 to 45 minutes for the main three, Space Mountain, Tron, and Mine Train. And it was still about 45 minutes for the Jingle Cruise. I ended up jumping in line for Space Mountain, and I believe the wait time said about 45 minutes. From the time I entered the queue to the time I exited the ride, it was 28 minutes. So it was quicker than the time stated on the ride. However, I checked Tron afterwards and it was like 45 or 50 minutes, so I decided to come back later for Tron. I will say that I walked over to Storybook Circus, and I will say that area was probably the best decorated and themed with Christmas lighting. I did get to meet Santa Jack and Sally. That was pretty interesting because their humor is very dark but funny and Christmas related. They had me laughing the entire time with their silly jokes. And the new Jack Skeleton headpiece for the costume is way better than the one they had in the previous years. I ended up watching the fireworks at 10, which were pretty awesome. And I'll make sure I upload the video so you guys can watch it as an independent video on its own. And then I waited around to watch the last parade at 11 o'clock. And I will be honest, after this parade ended around 11:35, I could have probably gone on Tron or Mine Train. They were pretty much walk-ons with 5-minute waits. But I was tired and I had a 40-minute drive ahead of me. Plus, I had to make it to my vehicle still, and I had to get up at 6 o'clock the next morning to go to work. So I have been to Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party several times in the past, and I'll say this was the most crowded one I've ever been to. Nobody really knows what the park's capacity is because Disney doesn't publish it. However, it's estimated that somewhere between 80 and 100,000 people are allowed into the Magic Kingdom on a typical day. And it's predicted that around 30,000 people are allowed into Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party. In my opinion, it seemed very crowded for a limited ticketed event that cost $200. So if I had young kids and they wanted to go to this event, I'd probably pay the money to go. However, if I'm going as an adult to ride rides, I would probably opt out and go to Jollywood Nights at Hollywood Studios instead. So that's my take on Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party for 2025. I hope you guys enjoyed the video and the content. If you do, please like and follow. Also, don't forget to check out our app, Theme Park Social. It's available on Apple App Store and on Google Play. If you're looking for a friend to go to the parks with, no matter where you live, jump on the app and check it out. The app is free. You don't have to pay anything. We're just a company that's trying to help people connect and hang out.